It's time to start our meeting, and we have got a quorum. I now declare the meeting open. First of all, I wish everyone a prosperous year of the horse. We have one paper on the agenda, and this is Provision for Capital Works Reserve Fund Block Allocations. It would involve $38.299 billion. May I remind members that if you have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest in relation to today's discussion item, please act in accordance with Rule 83A of ROP and declare the nature of your interest before you speak. Members should also note ROP 84 that in the case of involvement in direct pecuniary interest, procedure will have to be followed. First of all, item, Provision for Capital Works Reserve Fund Block Allocations for 2026-27, paper number PWSC 2025-26-18. Is in relation to an allocation of $38.9299 billion to provide money for 2026-2027 in the Capital Works Reserve Fund block. And the administration has consulted the Transport Panel, the Information Technology and Broadcasting Panel, as well as the Development Panel. And the panels agree that this item should be submitted to the PWSC. The gist of the discussion of the panel's meetings have been sent to members through email for your reference. And on the 20th of February, the administration submitted the heads and subheads of the 2026-2027 allocations, paper number PWSC 2026-01. We have officials in attendance in relation to this particular item. The name list has been uploaded to the website for your reference. I won't introduce them one by one because there are many of them. Members, when you raise your questions, please quote the head number and subhead number. For example, head 73, subhead 011. And now let's have the speaking order for the first 10 members. First, Mr. Yu Ming. Second, Aaron Pork, and then Chen Hock-Fung, Andrew Lam, Dennis Leung, Yang Yongjie, Ray Wong, and Robert Lee, Christine Fong, and then Joey Fei Chen. Every member has got 4 minutes to speak and to get answers. Mr. Yu Ming. So it's about $38.9 billion in the sum requested. And I have a question for Head 707, Newtowns and Union Area Development 5, and Subhead 5. I would like to know the total allocation for this subhead. And then Head 709, Water Works. It has seen an increase of 94.1% to $3.23 billion. Are we talking about the replacement of old water mains? Are you going to devote more resources to areas plagued by this problem? And also, there's an increase of 10.3% to the subhead. how much more efficient would the administration become because of the increase in fund allocation? So do you have proper audit to ensure that it's cost effective and good value for money? I'll ask the WST to respond to the second question, and then also to the third question, I'll ask my colleague to provide the relevant data. So, Mr. Yu, you are concerned about Head 707 and different subheads, and whether they are related to the Northern Metropolis, and the details of such. There are different subheads under this head. If we look at Head 706, those items cover new towns and new development areas. There's no further breakdown into Northern Metropolis related and non-Northern Metropolis related. Of course, for Northern Metropolis, if a project is ready to go ahead, we would certainly submit an application to get it started. The second question, I will defer to my colleague from WSD. Chairman, the increase in fund allocation is because of the scope of the projects and the number of projects. For ongoing projects, there is a higher demand for cash flow. That should include water treatment plants, pumping stations, and necessary improvement works to ensure water works will be trustworthy and available for use to ensure the steady supply of water. And this is also part of the asset management program of the department to carry out maintenance and repair for identified waterworks, so as to avoid water may burst. We have devoted more resources to address public concern about the bursting of water mains and also to prevent seepage of water. And also the number of incidents has decreased compared with the previous year. And we have also installed filters so that asphalt detachment resulting in water pollution can be avoided. Thank you for your question, Mr. Yu. In relation to the reason why the funds allocated have increased. Well, I agree with the members' observation that we have to make sure that the money is put to good use. And we are looking at a total of 80% of ongoing projects which are in the middle or the later stages of completion. That's why we need higher cash flow to meet the expenditure. It's important that we achieve high efficiency. In the first 9 months of the year, the quantified benefits would amount to $1.09 billion. Next, we have Mr. Aaron Bock. I have declared my interest that I am an independent non-executive director of 2 companies and also a director of a one-person consultancy firm. At the panel meeting, I already said that the allocation of $38.9 billion is short of what is really required because there's the need to do more. I won't repeat my points. A number of members joined me in writing a letter to the administration to explain why this is the case, and we have got all the reasons, A, B, C, D, E, etc. I have 2 questions here. Head 703. Buildings Department. Compared this year's allocation with that of last year, it's a decrease of 21%. At the panel meeting, the administration said that they have implemented something for value adding. if you can reduce the expenditure by 20% by implementing these savings, but what about the items compared with the items of last year or the year before last? If we are talking about comparable numbers, then you can say that by achieving savings, you can reduce the expenditure by that amount. And also, our infrastructure is aging. Our roads, our water pipes are all aging. There's a need to conduct comprehensive maintenance and repair. You should devote more resources to this purpose. Otherwise, if we have a burst of water mines in the Lion Rock Tunnel, then that would cost us more, and that would affect our reputation as an international cosmopolitan. So the government should do more to prevent problems with our infrastructure items. The first question I'll ask the Buildings Department. And then I'll ask the Highways Department to answer questions related to roads. And as a general principle, the funds requested would take into account the cash flow required for the coming year. For example, for all the infrastructures such as waterworks, the departments do need more resources, and that's why we have seen a big increase in the allocations. So Buildings Department and then Highways Department. Compared with the previous year, the number of projects is comparable, it's all about the same. It's 4,200. Last year is 4,600. So you may think that there are fewer projects, but we have been managing our finances prudently, and we only carry out whatever are really necessary, and we have our priorities set properly. We look at the cost effectiveness, the budgets, and that's why the cash flow requirement for the coming year is lower. But whatever we don't carry out this year might be carried out in the next year. Highways Department, thank you for your questions, Mr. Pook. As for the conditions of our roads, well, some of them are rather aged, and therefore there may be a need to carry out maintenance. But roads in Hong Kong are busy with a heavy traffic flow. If we have to close the roads for in-depth maintenance, it will present problems. So this is what we're doing this year and in the previous year. We've introduced a new technology and new working materials so as to compress the time required, so that we would carry out night works bit by bit, so that we don't need to close the roads during daytime. That's what the current practice is, and we have seen good results. And we have also introduced new practices. So we'll first of all identify the suitable road sections for works, and then we will consider how road management or closure should be carried out. And the industry, the construction industry will then tie in. So in the following years, we would introduce more projects, just like what we have been seeing for water mains and waterworks, so that we can carry out maintenance more properly.
Can the Buildings Department explain why there is a drop from 4,600 to 4,200? Can you please give us a breakdown on which categories saw the decline of 400? Next, Mr. Chan Ho-Fong. Thank you, Chairman. A few questions. Number 707, item 6, and the studies on the Hong Kong Island. The amount you applied was 25 million. I'd like to ask a specific section because you have built a long section of a harbour promenade. But which section are you talking about? Next, 708 and sub had 78-100 QX. For many schools, you arrange for large-scale maintenance works, including many old school premises. But in the next few years, there will be the trend of cutting down, closing down schools. But have you assessed these schools? Because sometimes they are shut down after maintenance. Is there a waste of public money? So when you're doing the assessment, what is the basic principle in your assessment? Does it include the recruitment students? The third question is sub 708 and subhead 8001X, because when it comes to the application for elderly care homes, and we need to find proper land plots in new development areas, but actually in old areas there were vacant government premises, including school premises or vacant government properties. Have you considered the possibility of retrofitting these facilities rather than building everything from scratch? 3 questions. I'd like to invite a development department to answer this first question, and the third question will be answered by the SWD. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Regarding the promenade in Hong Kong Island, I'm sure you know the details because the promenade has a length of 60 kilometers connecting North Hong Kong Island and the existing promenade and pedestrian trails in country parks in South Hong Kong Island. And our target is that by 2027, we will connect 90% of the sections in the promenade, and the remainder will be completed by 2030. So for some time, we've been progressing in this project, and the project you mentioned, Mr. Chen, is a large project, so that's why we need to apply for exploration and surveying work as a separate subhead. And there are 3 sections, and one of them has to do with an ocean park, and the second one has to do with the Deepwater Bay, and the third one started so for these 3 pedestrian walks, it's a very large-sized project. So this is why we need to apply for allocation again for as an item under capital works. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for the question. These large-scale maintenance works are regular. Every May, we invite government-funded schools to submit applications regarding the large-scale projects, and we will assess them. We will look at their necessity and urgency. If they are necessary and urgent, we will put together an estimate number. And if we put together resources next April, we will suggest funding approval. And for the items set out, we will take into account the situation of every school. Before we start every project, we need to look at the enrollment of students. If not many students are enrolled, and if there is a risk of being shut down in short term, we will not proceed with the project. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chen, for the question. And we are looking at using the vacant government premises. Actually, in the past, we retrofit a lot of such facilities, for example, in Sai Kung and in Tuen Mun, for example, Siu Lan Hospital, and other premises like primary schools. And we take a look at the vacant premises, including Hong Kong Island and Kowloon, and we transformed them into residential homes or daily care homes. And next, Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to focus on the studies of railway projects. Not long ago, there were new designing standards for railway projects. So I'd like to take out a few projects for EY301, and this is and for other one non-coded 6100 TX regarding the analysis of exploration work of railway projects. And so 5MTX, this is the design requirements and maintenance arrangement for road and railway. I'm sure some of the projects were in progress, some of them have not started. So for what is ongoing, will there any requirement for rebuilding? Will there be any contingency fund for dealing with this project, or do we have to redesign the whole standard? Highways Department. Thank you, Mr. Lam. Thank you, Chairman. As for the new railway project, a couple of days ago, we announced the new railway standards, the new designing standards. So new railway projects will follow these standards. The few projects you mentioned, Mr. Lam, are either ongoing or in preparation in the pipelines, and some preliminary work is ongoing. For example, surveying work and exploration work, and these are not very relevant to designing standards because we need to retrieve relevant data before starting design work. If design work started, maybe they're relevant, but when we look at these items, we think that it's not necessary to make any adjustments. So for the new projects in the upcoming years, we need to look at this item when it comes to these new projects. We will keep an eye on them. Thank you, Mr. Lam. Next one is Mr. Dennis Le. Chairman, 709 and subhead 9100 regarding Water Supplies Department. This is a 2.0 smart pipes. Is this a second phase or an updated version? How much area does it evolve? How much in percentage is it? And does it prevent future events like water pipe busting and leakage? And on item 7, robots used in water pipes and development of robot-related technology. So after the studies, when will this robotic technologies being utilized? And this third one, a feasibility study on the smart supply. So how, to what extent is it smart? What smart technologies are used? And for these 3 items, how will they prevent the event of water pipe busting, and how much cost will it save? So with these smart technologies, how will it save the future spending so we can use water resources more efficiently? Mr. Chairman, Smart Water Pipes 2.0 is actually an updated version of smart pipes. And in the past, Water Intelligent Network is to detect water pipe slippage. This is not real-time data because it's only for inspection. And in that process, we found that sometimes we could start maintenance early, so we could prevent them from a water leakage to water busting. So we have 500 sensors, and they can be operated real time. And other than that, we can add more than 200 sensors to cover spots that have not been covered, so we can cover a larger area. And with the 2.0 system, this was a new item last year, and in the future we will have more such sensors. After that, we believe in the long run, with the water and electrical models, we will install AMR, namely the latest generation of smart water meters. So with them, we believe we can have a better grasp of the water networks, so we can receive some alerts, so we can detect relevant problems. And for water pipe robotics co-lab, this was established in collaboration with Hong Kong Poly U. The main project involved is that without stopping the operation of water pipe, we could penetrate the water pipe to see what's inside. Previously, there were technologies of this kind in foreign countries, but they were too expensive. However, Hong Kong Poly U is working with some startups in China to improve the situation. If we can detect problems, if we can narrow down the spot, we can explore the specific area of problems, so we could solve the water leakage problem in a small and narrow area. As for the intelligent water network system, well, in Siu Sai Wan, we had a pilot project, and there was very high pressure in the pumping station. So we divided the whole area into high pressure and low pressure. We used new technologies so the pressure in the water network could be lower. And in the future, we will expand the studies to the other 20 saltwater supply areas. And we hope that with the additional sensors, we can detect problems dynamically. So that's the supplementary information from my side. Mr. Yang Wing Kip, I'd like to follow up on sub 707 and the subhead 7106X. This is regarding Kai Tak River, and we have response from Kowloon City District Council, and the response is that it will be completed by the first quarter of this year. However, here in item 3, this year you are requesting 3 million, and with the 2025 number, you have received allocation of 72.4%. So in your response, you said that this project would be completed by Q1, but with the numbers you provided, after this year, you will only have completed 72%. So for S6A, when will it be completed and available for use by the citizens? And for item 5 under 7100CX, this is connecting Kai Tak River to the promenade. And for these two items, OS2A and OS6, and now there is a new proposal. And I believe the allocated fund will be used in 1 or 2 years, but we would like to accelerate the project because these facilities have been open to the public already. If there is no connecting bridge, it would be very depressing to the local citizens. So I hope this project can be started as soon as possible. My second question has to do with sub 709 and subnet 9100WX. This is also regarding the water pipe. This is also about the Intelligent Water Network 2.0. The administration said that there will be real-time sensors, and there will be more of them. But in item 9, WX item 9, regarding real-time monitoring, regarding this new proposal, there will be additional robotics with 10 million. This is rather similar to the 2.0 system. So why will there be feasibility study on real-time monitoring? Is it because that the 2.0 system is not mature enough? Can we have more explanation? Second, can you please further clarify why the pipeline robotics, now in mainland China, we know that robotics are used in inspecting this pipe networks. We spend 17 million on this, and I can understand, but why did you not use the robotic technology from mainland? I believe the mainland technologies are much inexpensive, so why do you spend money for that, and rather than using the mainland technologies directly? So for item 5, replacing the water mains in Kowloon City District, and Mr. Yang, please reserve some time for the illustration.
One last question. The budget for this year is 8 million, and the total expenditure is about $20 million. Well, this is not commensurate with the rate of water mains bursting incidents. We don't want to have such incidents before or on New Year's Eve, etc. That's not what people want. All right? Please provide some succinct replies. For Kai-Tak works, the second question, it will be C for CDD. And then for the waterworks questions, WSD, please. First of all, we have the DO, or the HAYB. Please speak closer to the mic. I will be addressing the recreational site at near Kai-Tak Promenade.
靠近一啲至得嚇。
聽到嘛？係，唔該嚇。回應翻呢個啟德河。
Well, along the Kai-Tak River, there's an open space, and we will provide basic facilities. Well, this will be a project carried out by the CEDD, and Kowloon City District Council has also allocated $8 million. It's an OS 6A. We are going to provide basic facilities such as the fans, the lighting, and the seating equipment. And there will also be works on the construction of passageway. According to the latest information, the project is 90% complete. And members asked the question why the funds have not been fully utilized. It doesn't really tally with the progress or completion rate. In 2025, we already incurred some expenditure before the 31st of March 2025, and now we are talking about here in this year we are going to exhaust the remaining $3.5 million. CEDD. As for the pedestrian walkway along the promenade of Kai-Tak River, we are building the connecting paths. For example, those near the Children's Hospital, and the projects will be completed within this year. We are talking about Area 3B, near the acute hospital, and then all the way to the river mouth of Kaitak River. This will be a joint project together with the commercial site there. But of course, the commercial sites will take a longer time to complete. We will provide the necessary connecting paths. So we'll go for connection first before enhancement and improvement. So simpler steps will be taken to make the connection first. We're talking about a length of 600 meters. And in terms of areas, more than 6,000 square meters. The work will start in the middle of this year. We know it's an urgent task. Then earlier next year, that we can connect this particular section to the other roads. For the WIN 2.0 project, we are going to enhance the ability, the capacity for real-time data transmission, and also the dynamic adjustment of water pressure. We need to have an item of IoT network set up and the sensors installed. With this network established, then even without sensors, we'll be able to monitor the water pressure through network modeling. And then we'll use big data to do the analysis to alert us to the anomalies and changes in water pressure. We also have sensors installed in the pipes. So with the new infrastructure, with the new platform, we'll get the data. But these data are not visualized. So we cannot, at a glance, detect where the problem lies. So we are exploring different possibilities. We will use AI, big data, analytic platform and modeling, so that through machine learning, we can use the data we collect to remind us how we can identify a short section of the water pipes where works will be required. That's an exploration that we are going to do in phase 2. And further ahead, we need to gather more data for further analysis. Please be brief. Robotics. Well, what we are different to the mainland water works is that our water pressure is higher. So we cannot really just introduce mainland technology. We need to work with the PWSC to see what can be done in Hong Kong. We understand that it's important that we manage water bursting properly. So we are going to get a higher budget for that. Well, I very much agree with Mr. Chen. I would like to see something done by the FSD too, where the hose pressure should be improved so that we don't have a situation where you have the firefighting hose but no water supply. I don't need an answer for this question, actually. As a member from the PBA, we would like to see more works, and it's an increase of 12%. But since Hong Kong is an economic transition, we need to adjust fundings. We need to carry out more computerization projects under Head 710 to do away with the so-called digital enclaves. This time, the budget is $2.7 billion, up 13%. Many departments have applied for funding. For example, Digital Policy Office And EMSD is going to develop the intelligence network. That's the need to develop a common platform for different departments. Would the government look into the coordination so that we don't have reinvention of wheels incidents, so to speak? And also, you should allow more startups to get a share of the works. And also 701 land reclamation, and also 707 has 707 $20 billion will be involved for land reclamation for 17 technopark. $4.3 billion is required, and for phase 2, 250 million. The northern metropolis is represent the future of Hong Kong, and there should be some allocation for industrialization. And also, you should provide the dedicated vehicular passageway for the bulky warehouse project, so that we can better tie in with the 15 five-year planning of the country. For the first question, I would like the Digital Policy Office. And then for the second question, I would like the Northern Metropolis Coordination Office and the relevant department to work out among themselves for a reply. Well, actually, we have the same view. We are looking forward to the establishment of a common platform for data sharing. And we would look at each project carefully. If there are elements in these projects which can be shared or used by different parties, we would go for it. And for the Digital Policy Office, we have a new pilot project, new investigation carried out for intelligence government. So we would talk to departments to see whether some of the measures can be adopted by the departments. We have 5 pilot projects going on. And in due course, we can certainly share more information with members. Northern Metropolis, in taking forward the Northern Metropolis project, well, we are going to be flexible about land, so especially land allocated for different industries. For example, for Hong Shui Q, the industrial park, the 23 hectares of land. At present, we are doing the rezoning of such sites. For that particular industrial site, we would try to incorporate more flexibility so that the zoning can meet the needs of different industries in the production process, whether it's R&D, manufacturing, or the development, as well as exhibition and warehouse purposes. In other NDAs, for example, 17 technopole, and the sites for new industries, we will do all our best to facilitate their development. Lands Department, yes. In 2026-27, the total allocation for this purpose is about $20 billion, as the members has pointed out. $18 billion will be related to the Northern Metropolis project. Mr. Robert Lee. So today's item is about the broad allocation totaling $38.9 billion. First of all, I have to say that I support the item. And there are big projects and also minor works for improvement, etc. There are different heads so that the departments concerned and bureaus concerned can take forward some IT projects. For some members have referred to Head 709, Waterworks. The increase is rather significant, 94%, with a total budget of 3.5. Will the department look at how projects should be prioritized so that we can reduce the financial burden?
Second, 704 drainage services. There is a very high number in the suggested allocation. It's increased to 2 billion. And regarding the improvement of sewage water mains, will the administration consider using more cost-effective technology so we can reduce the cost and the lead time for construction? So how will we be able to make sure that these projects would not see any overrun, thus applying for further allocation of funds? Two questions: water department and a drainage department. Chairman, as we have a lot of water filtering plants under the PWSC, and there are water distribution stations, pumping stations, and other facilities. To ensure 24/7 water supply, we need to upgrade these facilities from time to time. And we have a list of priority items, and we only proceed with the project when necessary. We will use technology so our maintenance work can be more targeted and streamlined. And we invested in these water stations so we can enable remote monitoring, especially in the remote areas. And some pilot projects might use some funding at this stage, but in the long run, they will save manpower and be more robust. Chairman, thank you. As for this year, 2026 and 27, the allocation submitted was 2 billion. So in the paragraph 9 in the meeting paper, it mentions that the reason is to enhance the structural robustness of the water mains and the robustness of the current water facilities. So this year and next year, especially, we need a lot of cash flow in the next year. And for your reference, the total length of the water mains that we managed is around 4,500 kilometers. And as for drainage pipes, will be 2,500, and for sewage water mains at 2,000 kilometers. And most of them have been used for 30 years. So the aging of water mains are more of a serious problems in old districts. And our department is in charge of maintenance work of these water mains, including 30 facilities, and most of them are sewage facilities. So we need to proceed with maintenance and improvement work of these facilities. In 2026 and 27, the increased number is because that our current projects in progress require a large number of cash flow. As my colleague said, many of the facilities are aging, and we have technology in place to improve the situation. The Drainage Department is very active in using latest technology and other machineries. For example, we use remote drainage cleaning robotics And we use robots for monitoring the water mains, and we have CCTV monitoring systems, and we have smart inspection facilities. So this will reduce the need for manpower, and it will also make the maintenance work less risky. And under all these subheads, we will monitor the work progress very closely to avoid any overruns and request for more allocation. Next, Ms. Christian Fon. Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the administration for your presence. For this Capital Works Reserve Fund, the allocation is 38.9 billion. It's a huge number. I hope you can keep a close eye on the use of public funds. And I can see that the Universal Accessibility Program received very good feedback, and we have 380 lifts, and each lift involves $10 million or even more, and one of them is $75 million. In the past, many of us mentioned the problem of over-design for this lift, and sometimes at the connection points, sometimes we need to look for easier solutions. If the landowners give us too much pressure, we give up our proposed solution. And this lift will be, let's say, used for 100 years or more. So can the administration talk about this more? In the future, will you remove the underground water mains and other cables? And sometimes you involve two different contractors. So will that reduce the cost involved? And I'm talking about head 706, and I'm also looking at the section 2 of Sai-Kung Highway, and also the bus interchange in Tate Keynes Tunnel. So will the administration look into the possibility that, given that the current number is at 48 million, can we please also include the minibus in this interchange station so we can offer more flexible transport options? And will the solution be applicable to other interchange stations like in Changkwon-O? And I'm also interested in the materials used on roads, and there will be a very high amount used for improving the road. Will there be any cost-effective material so when we rebuild and maintaining the roads so they can be more reliable and durable? Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Fong. Your first question has to do with 6101TX and second one 6105TX, and the Highways Department will answer the questions. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Fong, for the question. As for 6101TX, as for Universal Accessibility Program, let me respond to the question. Regarding material, the Highways Department was committed to using updated material in the improvement work of lifts, including smart systems and nanotechnology and reflection board. These are very much welcomed by the public and also people with disabilities. In the future, we will look into more new technologies, including new materials, so we can optimize the use of lift. Second, going forward, the new project will be carried in 2 phases. The first, land surveying, and the second, building of lifts in the future. In the second quarter of this year, the Highways Department, at least within this year, we will work with 18 district councils. We will consult with members of the public and relevant technology projects include the design of pedestrian work and connection points of lifts. We welcome public opinions. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Fong, for the question. As for Tate King's tunnel, as for the bus station, so it's an outstanding item because currently CEDD is carrying out some works at the slope area. So the two projects are overlapping, and after the slope project, we will start our program. If everything goes well, and by the end of this year, we will have started operation of this bus interchange station. Our target is to complete it by the end of 2029. Ms. Fong, you asked whether minibus can be included in the services. Well, in taking tunnel, there is no minibus passing this tunnel, and even the red minibuses, they're not allowed to use the tunnel. So our current design did not take into account the use, the possibility of using minibus. So the current design is that we will increase the parking spots for buses to 7. And I understand your concern, and I will also convey your message to the Transport Department for consideration. Perhaps in the future, when we build interchange stations, we can consider green minibuses. I will make sure to bring back the message to other government departments. As for road materials, building materials, well, there are a few things. We have been improving the use of building materials on roads. Last year, we used some new asphalt material, and it worked very well. In some sections, people could see the use of such new material. On new road building projects, this new material is being used. And this year, we're looking into the use of such material in bus stations, parking lots, and crossroads, especially when the traffic is high. This new material is still not very satisfactory, so we will use cutting-edge technologies. We are working with PolyU in developing new materials, so we will improve the situation of this road. And this new material will also be used in current roads with concrete surface. And if these new materials do work, we will apply for more funding. Next, Ms. Jofi Chan. Thank you, Chairman. 2 questions. Number 1, water supplies services. Last year, we had many events of water main busting. And in my constituency, Kuaiting, the situation is very serious, and it heavily affected transportation, and that calls for attention of the government. In head 709, in subhead 9100WX, I can see that there is an increase in funding request of 94.14%. Many questions that have been asked have to do with this. Last year, there was a co-lab for pipeline robotic technology, and it's very encouraging. It means that we can carry out maintenance work without blocking the roads. Now, some works are going very slowly because it's hard to apply for blocking the road. And if we can block road less, but we can carry out maintenance work, that will make our life much easier when it comes to replacing water pipes. But is there a timeline? Is there a list of KPIs for development and research? Because we are very much interested in when the technologies can be put into use. Secondly, regarding item 9, the newly added real-time monitoring system, meaning citizens will just call 1823 when they see water pipe busting. And I think the building department and other government departments, when there is a water busting problem, and the two departments reported that it would be taken care of the WSD. So sometimes when there is such problem, the citizens can only call 1823. So will there be such a coordination team, and will the team facilitate data exchange? And my next question has to do with head 703 and subhead 3004GX. This is regarding data center retrofitting project. So why the spots? Why in Linghohui and in other areas? Because we see a very high level of vacancy in data centers. Because these cooked food centers are in good operation. So why the retrofitting project? Thank you, Chairman. The WSD would take the first question, and the last two questions will be taken care of Buildings Department. Thank you. We strive to reduce the water busting problems. In the long run, there are three things. We will develop smart water pipes so we can reduce the water pressure smartly, because there is a high water pressure in the water pipes in Hong Kong. If that's the case, we can reduce the number of incidents. So we need to maintain different levels of water pressure at different times. And now we can enable real-time dynamic reduction of water pressure, but we will see whether it can be carried out in every district. Going forward, we will have many programs in the pipeline, and you can look at the real-time monitoring of data as stipulated in the document. So this is to inform which department is in charge, and it's part of the infrastructure, a smart water pipe system, and there are many water sensors, and we will add the sonar and other data. So after retrieval of this data, we will try to use AI and big data to analyze the data so we can precisely tell the public which section of water pipe has the leakage problem.
Well, if a problem is identified, then the maze may burst later. So we would carry out more in-depth investigation. So the approach is reduce pressure first. Second, identify precisely the problematic spot of the maze. So that's the response from my department. Market enhancement. We have been doing this with FEHD since 2018. It's the market modernization project. FEHD would have to tell us the order of projects. We look at the facade, the ceiling, the installations, facilities, the seating and equipment and tables, and also lifts, if necessary. There are 34 of them, 18 completed. The three markets mentioned by the member will involve the upgrading of facilities. Mr. Hui Simon Lee, on the board allocation. I know there's an office on strategic management. Are these projects under the purview of that office? And members like me are concerned about drainage works and water works projects, which would see increases in funding by 94.1% and 40-odd%. As for Head 703, there's a reduction of 21%. I do understand the importance of waterworks to our community, and there's a need to modernize the infrastructure. But since we want to spend money prudently, we don't need to have the same rate of increase for every subhead. So are you going to have some emphasis for different projects in different years? Please elaborate a bit so that the public can understand the rationale. Chairman, I'll ask the Development Bureau to respond to the question on strategic project strategy and governance office. Yes, for all major projects, we will review them, and the threshold has increased from 30 million to 50 million. We have reviewed 300 projects costing $30 million or more. They are minor projects. We look for projects which are not extravagant. We're not trying to see savings, but these are minor projects with a lower budget, and we would exchange views with the departments concerned. So in the applications for project approval, they would already incorporated our views. So our views are always incorporated into their submissions for approval. Second question, I can say something about that. Different departments may have different demand for funding in the coming year. So we have to look at the cash flow requirement of ongoing projects, and also projects that would commence in the following year, and they need to come up with a priority order. For Buildings Department,
嘅數目咧，其實同過往咧都係相若嘅，不過就係即係出年個現金流咧。
Next year, the cash flow requirement will be lower. $1,150 projects costing $16.1 billion. They are in different phases of completion. There may be a lower demand for cash flow, but that doesn't mean that our commitment is lower. Mr. Zhong Ho-Fung, we are very concerned about the conditions of our water maze, especially in my constituency, Tuen Mun, in the town center. Well, we have seen many incidents. I'm glad to see that the funding will increase by 94.1% to $3.5 billion. I would like to see if my understanding is correct about waterworks. WSD is responsible for managing our public water maze. What about premises controlled by the housing department, the public housing estates? The housing department also carry out water works because the conditions in some older public housing estates are rather poor. As for WIN, Water Intelligence Network 2.0, I understand that there are 8,400 kilometers of water pipes, and 6,000 of them are for potable water. So you are going to replace water mains where there are no sensors. I've sought advice from experts that you need a sensor, 5 sensors for every kilometer of water mains. So it's about $10,000 each. So for $28 million, you can only cater for a small section, small part of the total amount. So is it that you are going to just spend $28 million? You are going to install 562 sensors. Well, I would like you to do with the trunk pipes first. Last year, there was a water mains burst under Tumun Highway. So I would like you to accord priority to these trunk pipes. WSD. What works within housing estates are not the responsibility of the WSD. We have a dedicated team for handling water mains. So we took up those incidents in public housing estates because the housing department did not have sufficient manpower to handle the cases. As for WIN 2.0, we need to install 250 sensors with row openings. If there's no need to have a vertical shot open or row openings, we will install the sensors. The sensors are not very expensive, but if we need to do the trunk excavation and then install the sensors, the cost will be very high. So we would install sensors in some specified location first, and then we install more sensors, set up the platform using all the data available to conduct more in-depth analysis to identify the other problematic projects. Is the $20 million just for the coming year or for the entire project? It's for the entire project. But for the WIN 2.0, please bear with me. Do you have the figures? For this year, we are going to spend $23 million. So it will be completed within the year. We will be installing sensors, buy the sensors, install them this year. Ms. Julia Lau. For head 703, subhead 3100GS. The Hong Kong Institute of Surveyor has recently issued some paper on the Hong Kong standard method of measurement of building works. It's published by the Hong Kong Institute of Surveyors to facilitate building information modeling adoption. Please speak closer to mine. It's a head 703, subhead 3100GX, second part. Consultancy or the consultancy work for review of method of measurement of building works. Is this a pilot project, pilot consultancy study, or is it a general study? So that's the first question. Perhaps I can have a reply for this question first. Please continue. As also for the the lift design and the use of external material for lift, and usually it's something for the architect, because we need to have some heat insulating material to reduce the need for air conditioning. I would like to know if the budget has already included consultancy fees.
咁我請
And Head 703, Buildings Department, would take the question. As for the second question, you're talking about the design of lifts. If that's the case, the Buildings Department will respond. Thank you. The first item has to do with the 3100GX. This has to do with the 5th edition 2025 of the Hong Kong Standard Method for Measurement for Building Works. Each item, as for the breakdown of different items, usually there will be a platform in collaboration with the contractors, and we will combine it with a BIM, Building Information Model. So in the future, with BIM, we can have a specific estimate, but going forward in the studies, the codes in this new measure will be included for the convenience of the relevant parties. Now, we don't have a list of codes for the two separate systems. Highways Department. As for lift, there are two parts. First, currently, we entrusted some consultancy firms, and these are cross-discipline consultancy firms, architects, and different roles, different professionals. We will invite them to look at the design. When the design has been completed, the administration will vet the plan. We have this Road and Bridges Committee composed of different professionals, architects, and there are scholars as well. So this committee will vet and endorse the plan. So simply put, on design of lists, the professional advice from architects is certainly taken on board. Next, Mr. Stanley Ng. Thank you, Chair. I support the block allocation under the CWRF, but I think we need further clarification from the administration on some items regarding Head 709, Head 9100GX. The technical studies regarding the smart technologies used in public water works. So on the use of the technologies, which specific technologies will involve these studies? I'm not sure we are looking at the technologies on their own. We're looking at the utilization of these technologies, right? So how will they improve on the management process, and what problems can they address? Can you please tell us more? Because we are talking about a very large amount. You're not talking about developing these specific technologies, but you're talking about using these technologies in practice. So we'd like to know more about what's behind these large amounts of funding. Head 703, subhead 3004GX regarding the Cooked Food Center. I'd like to know more about what's included in refurbishment. Can you please tell us more? These days, cooked food centers and markets are being modernized. Are these two separate projects? Because we can see that in places like Apli in fresh food markets, also in Yuan markets, these markets are being modernized. And for these two items, should they be one single block item? or why were they separated as two different items? Deputy Secretary. And Water Services Department and Beauties Department. Thank you. Well, on this item, this is the most precious asset, water filtering plants. These are expensive, these are crucial, and it involves very high cost to operate them. We have many water plants, so we are thinking maybe we can have a centralized water plant which can control all the water plants, and we're looking at the possibility of doing so. For example, in one of the pilot projects in Siuhowan water filtering plant, and there are many other smaller water plants like in Tai O, and we're looking at their condition, and we hope that we can monitor these facilities remotely. And in the future, if we need to dispatch personnel, can we do that more flexibly? Can we maybe station a team of personnel in one of the plants, and wherever there are problems within one facility, we can dispatch personnel ad hoc. So we need to put all the water plants into different categories and look at the condition of every water station, and look at where some works should be carried out. So if these works are really carried out, it's going to be very expensive. So to look at the feasibility, I think it's worth doing spending some money on the feasibility study. As for cooked food centers, well, we need to look at the necessity of this fresh food markets. And these items in the paper, we need to talk with the merchants. So we started with cooked food center first. And one of the example is that after meeting the stakeholders from the cooked food centers, our policy is welcomed by them. So we are taking two different approaches, and we can consult with the shop owners and see how things work out. Next, Mr. Augustine Wong. Thank you. I declare of interest. And the group that I work with will be affected by the land acquisition policies we're talking about this term. I am the deputy chairman of Lingnan University University Board, and I'm also working for the Scouts Association. And I'm talking about Head 709 and Subhead 199100WX. There are 6 items carrying 1 star. That means there is no plan for implementation under the block allocation. And when I look at this document, it seems that other departments have 3 or 4 items of this kind, but Water Services Department has 6 of these items. What's the reason behind? WSD. You may remember that last year in May and June, where things were pretty difficult for the WSD, there were water pipe bustings, and a lot of incidents happening at the same time, and drew a lot of attention from the public. So we took many steps, and in July we explained at the panel on development meeting on our Wing 2.0, there were aging water pipes. They burst without any alert. There were no leakage, but they burst all of a sudden. So we look at the Cosquean Road and the Matawai Road. So we carried out work immediately. Same case with Garden Road. Next, Mr. Tommy Chong. Thank you, Chair. Declare of interest. A voluntary advisor for the Contractors Association. I can see some country parks. The estimate cost for the public toilets range from 20 to 30 millions. And in one of the country parks, one public toilet, involves $40 million. I know there is land leveling and other works. I believe when it comes to public toilets, the costs of these toilets often draw public attention. So can you please clarify what's behind these numbers more to the public? And can we use technologies or new approaches like MIC, or can we use mobile toilets so we can reduce the cost? And an answer from the Environment and Ecology Bureau. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Member, for the question. As for public toilets in the country parks, as these are in very remote areas, so it involves transportation of material and preparation of building material, and there is higher cost compared with those in urban areas. And in Aberdeen country parks, on top of public toilet, there is a little canteen and a leisure area. This time, we need to demolish the existing facility before building a new one, and the area involved is much larger than it was. So this is why the cost is higher. But we will strive to use the latest technology, hoping that we can minimize the cost. As the member said, we use the MIC to reduce the cost, and this is the case for current facilities. We will also use cutting-edge technologies, because we will take this opportunity to refurbish what has been used for 20 years, and this is the case for sewage settlement, and we can recycle the water to clean the toilet, and this is a good option in the perspective of sustainability and easy of use. Thank you. Next one, Mr. Holden Cho. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to ask a question on 709 regarding waterworks. The colleagues from the WSD responded to our concern on WIN 2.0. When I look at the subhead 709, there are many different items involving waterworks. For WIN 2.0, it's 28 million, as we mentioned. Out of all these items, I didn't see any mention of waterworks in Tuen Mun area. I'm interested if you have any plan out of the $28 million waterworks. Is there going to be any sensors installed in Tuen Mun? Are the facilities in Tuen Mun included in that number? Many colleagues asked, given the water pipe bursts in Hong Kong last year, especially in Tuen Mun. As I said, many different areas were included under subhead 709, but Tuen Mun was not. Is there any specific projects targeting at the aging waterworks in Tuen Mun? Is there any plan to install smart sensors? Because when DAB met the colleagues from the Development Bureau, they mentioned the installment of smart sensors in Tuen Mun. So on WIN 2.0 and on other items, do you have any plan to include the smart facilities in Tuen Mun? For WIN 2.0, we will have 500 real-time sensors, and 2 of them are real-time smart sensors. And some other items will involve road excavation, and this will be carried out in 2027. So in the long run, smart waterworks will be installed in different districts with smart sensors. As for Tuen Mun and Yuen Long, on waterworks, the 10 items here are only some of the specific items. We have many other items. For example, in the Town Hall Road and in Castle Peak Road, we will also install other facilities, but we only list some of the planned projects as examples. Well, I'd like to follow up on that. We know that you cherry-picked some projects as a reference because you're looking for fund allocation. I understand that. But as for other projects, ongoing projects or planned projects in Tui Mun and Yunlong roads, will there be any other different approaches or technologies used so they're not included in the Capital Works Reserve Fund? I'd like to know more about that. So that's the case. And here, under the subhead bracket 1, there are many other items, but they're not listed here. So you only cherry-picked some items for reference. Yes, all of the items are included under the subhead. Yes, I am happy to know that they're all included.
補充就其實除咗呢個
I'd just like to supplement. Apart from this paper and the items, we've got a list of another 11,000 projects for electrical's information. There are 1,700 projects, but because of the limitation of this paper, we just list those with a higher need for cash flow funding. So there's just 10 highlighted projects. Mr. Lam Wai Kong had 606 6100TX. I'm glad to see a project listed for Lao Xin Street lift. We have been asking for this for more than 10 years. Well, you are just asking for funding of advanced study and site investigation. So it's only a site investigation this year. When is it going to be carried out actually? And very often we see problems with road surface, especially busy roads. So we have road surface erosion from time to time. Can the department use more durable road paving materials so that we can avoid repeated works for repair? Highways Department, thank you, Mr. Lam, for your questions. For the Lao Xin Street item, it's not for study. It's for the construction. Of course, with members' agreement and approval, we would like to start the works in the first half of 2026 for completion in 2029. So the funding application is for the construction, not for the study. As for road paving materials, I've answered similar questions. We've introduced a new type of durable asphalt, which has been used for a year now. So we are now switching to this new material, but we have a total of 1,200 kilometers of roads, so this will be a gradual process. If the road concern is heavily used by heavy vehicles, then maybe the new materials will not be good enough. That's why we are now looking into the adoption of even better, newer material for bus stops and for turning intersections of roads. So we would consider using this even newer material for those spots. Chairman, Head 710, computerization, an increase of 10.3% to $27 million. Well, I support this empowerment project. There are more items, 660 ongoing, and there are some new projects. How many of those are new system development projects? How many are improvement of existing systems? The government has been promoting AI application. And you have mentioned a lot about enhancement projects, but what about system security and safety studies? For IT projects, a lot of subsequent and maintenance and enhancement will be required. Has the administration look ahead into the future? For example, what more will be needed to spend? What more you have to spend in the coming next 5 years or 10 years? Among the 644 projects, 138 are new projects. 548 are so-called ongoing items. 80% of them are ongoing, in other words. And 138 new projects is about 20% of the total. We agree with the member that the safety of the network and systems is of paramount importance. We want to promote intelligent government, but a lot of work will be required on prevention of system incidents and the prevention of hacking. We would do whatever it takes to prevent incidents. On maintenance, well, these projects are carried out in phases. The departments and the vendor, that is the contractor for the works, have adopted well-tested approaches to introduce relevant work standards, and we have also published management guidelines to help the departments to do proper maintenance. And a digital policy officer will be involved as and when necessary. Ms. Michelle Tang, I would like to thank the officials for attending this meeting. I support this item for the allocations under the CWRF. I have a question about Head 706 6101TX, Universal Accessibility Program. I have friends who are wheelchair users, and they are still inaccessible locations for the disabled in Hong Kong. The Highways Department has referred to new projects and ongoing projects, and the fact that they would go to all the 18 district councils to brief district council members. So are you going to go to all the 18 district councils, or just the 10 where projects will be carried out? Are you going to report progress, or are you willing to take on board council members' views? I've noticed that for some districts there will be no new projects. Thank you, Ms. Tan, for your questions. Since 2012, when we launched the Universal Accessibility Project, it has proved to be very popular. We have introduced many new facilities. For example, we have refractive panels installed inside lifts to facilitate the use by the disabled. And we have been soliciting feedback from the users. We know that these are very popular. Of the 382 items, we have completed some 280. The remaining one will be completed in the coming year. We are talking about hundreds of pavement and walkways. We'll see if they are suitable for the retrofitting of lifts. We're going to visit. We are going to go to all the 18 district councils to solicit their views on projects that they would like to see. Mr. Chong Ho Fong, for the second round, you have 3 minutes for your questions and the answers. I have a question about the contract for the Universal Accessibility Project. Well, you know, the industry is facing a question of cash flow. In Yunnan, a contractor encountered a problem, and there was a stoppage for half a year, for 6 months, and a lot of problems subsequently occurred. And many contractors would choose the phase payment method, and that is option A, and many of them therefore face cash flow problems. I've asked the Development Bureau whether these contractors can switch to option C so as to relieve their financial burden, and that would also prevent the occurrence of abortive projects. Thank you, Mr. Chong, for your questions. We're also all concerned about the cash flow problems of contractors. We are in constant communication with them to see what can be done to prevent such problems. We would talk with individual contractors to see whether they can switch to MIC instead of the traditional construction methods. As for the availability of option C, I think we can consider this in future contracts. We have two more meetings, two more members who would like to ask questions. I'll draw a line here after they have spoken. Ms. Christine Fong, second round, 3 minutes. Head 705 and subhead 5101. A new toilet, $29.8 million in Cyclone, and a barbecue pit, and now some refreshment kiosks. 5101DX, $20 million for Tai Mong Chai Barbecue Area Site number 13 and 14 within Sai Kung West Country Park. You know, the country parks are very popular with tourists, and they camp there. They need toilets and also need refreshment kiosks. And you know, they would just dispose of food waste near the campsite. So would you provide some sewage or waste treatment facilities to make the facilities more easy to use? And what are you doing to prioritize the projects? Are you looking at the popularity, the number of local tourists and mainland tourists? And also, you know that thousands of people visit the embankment. Can you have some drinking water spots for them? I know that you have to consider the treatment of sewage in identifying such locations.
Before the administration's response, I'd like to extend the meeting for 15 minutes from Environment and Ecology Bureau. As for the Sai Kung Country Park public toilets, now it's a camping site, and there is a toilet there. We know that this is a public tourist spot and also for camping, so that's why we are going to build one more public toilet. Whether we will build other camping sites there, we did some studies and we announced a report. We studied the popularity of these spots, and we looked at the use of the facilities. For example, the barbecue area wasn't much used, so we could build some new camping area using the space. And these new facilities are in operation. Well, there are new facilities because citizens will need to book these facilities with an online system, so people won't have to fight for the sites. But it's, after all, in a country park, so environmental concerns are important. We have consulted many stakeholders, and when we build these new facilities, we will take into environment concerns into account. So these are not very poshy facilities. These are only basic facilities, and the tours are also available for the use of the camping tourists. Whether there are sewage and waste treatment facilities, as the member said, we need to keep environment in mind when we develop these new facilities. So, of course, we will offer some facilities where people can use to collect garbage, and the public toilets nearby are all in very remote areas. We used some new technologies to treat waste and sewage, but not all these new technologies can be connected with the sewage water pipes. So we use some new approaches to treating this sewage so we can recycle them. And sometimes we need to suckle waste, but we will use technologies to make it easier. And people can treat food waste there, but this is not part of our design in the public toilets. Next one, Jofi Chan, 3 minutes. Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to offer some supplementary information. I'd like to follow up on my previous question, head 709. I think the administration misunderstood me. The members of public see water pipe leakage. Many of them will call 1823. So we can collect data, we can put the number together and see if there is possibility of further leakage. So why 1823 is so crucial in district management. So I'm sure we are not going for separate systems that are not interconnected. So under head 709, there is a mention of real-time monitoring of data. I hope you can bring in more AI in the system, so in the future we can make the whole system more intelligent by combining the needs of different departments. Thank you. Yes, we will look into the possibility. Previously, our project did not include complaints from citizens, but in the future, in our intelligent water system, we will put together all the data, water quality, complaints from public. For example, if there are complaints about water quality, if we receive many similar complaints, we will take into account the feasibility of further problems, but this will be carried out further down the road in our blueprint for waterworks management. Now we have heard all the questions from the members, and now I will put this proposal to the vote. Those in favor of this paper, PWSC 2025-26-18, please raise your hands. Those against the proposal, please raise your hands. I think the majority of the voting members are in favor of this proposal. The proposal is approved. On whether the Finance Committee should further discuss this item, PWSC 2025-26-18, I would not put this proposal to the vote. On whether the Finance Committee should further discuss the item, I now put the following question to vote in accordance with paragraph 41A of the Public Works Subcommittee procedure. The Subcommittee recommends the Finance Committee to further discuss the proposal in paper PWSC 2025-26-18. I wish to remind all members that if this proposal is carried, it means that the subcommittee recommends the Finance Committee to further discuss this paper. If the question is negative, it means the subcommittee does not recommend the Finance Committee to further discuss the paper. Those in favor of this question, please raise their hands. And if you are in favor of this proposal, that means you recommend the Finance Committee to further discuss the item. Let me repeat. If you are in favor of the proposal, that means you agree that this question will be carried for further discussion under the Finance Committee. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I believe the voting members are against this proposal, so this question is negative. The subcommittee does not recommend the Finance Committee to further discuss the paper PWSC 2025-26-18. The funding proposal approved at today's meeting is expected to be submitted to the Finance Committee for consideration in March 2026. The next meeting of this subcommittee will be held on 25th March 2026 from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Please attend the meeting on time. Thank you.